will feature our very own Newtown, or your very own Newtown playwright, and the best actor.
Say
Can you hear me from back there?
Very welcome.
I just want to say I have no editorial control over anything that's about to be done. No editorial control.
Any opinions heard tonight are not necessarily the views of Newtown High School and Mr. Ficalora and Mr. Levitt.
Be truthful.
So let's get this out of the way first of all.
Okay.
This play will have nothing to do with Orange, the Yankees, Pats, basically Stevie Nicks, Valerie Bertinelli, the Clowns, Alan's unique sense of fashion, the Lost Battalion, Newtown High School, Tennessee, the debate team, cemeteries where presidents are buried. I'm sure I've forgotten 1 or 2 or 100 more. But don't worry, they won't be mentioned in this play either. This is just about Alan Tobin. Alan Tobin. Mr. Rothman is going to help me out. Mr. Rothman, please read the first line.
Thank you. It's great being here to honor Alan Tobin.
Mr. Rothman, that's not the first line.
That's what it says for me to read.
Mr. Rothman, please read the first line.
No, you go first.
Are you sure?
It's your move.
Thank you. In case you didn't know, Mr. Rothman is the chess coach at Newtown. So that's why he said it's your move. Very good, Mr. Rothman. You are an awesome chess coach. I don't think you get enough credit for what you do. If you don't mind, I'd like all of us to give Mr. Rothman a hand.
Thank you. Isn't this supposed to be about Alan Tobin?
I got a little carried away. You really are an excellent chess coach. But enough about you, Rothman. Some people. So let's talk about Alan Tobin. He grew up in Stony Brook, New York. Stony Brook. Sounds idyllic. Brook, a small stream. Stony, a small stream full of stones in the middle of nowhere.
Sounds like a blast.
You're damn right it was. There's young Al Tobin. What a guy. At night, he would look up from the small stream full of rocks in the middle of nowhere and look at the sky full of stars and think, one day I will conquer the world. Well, maybe not. I mean, I like the guy, but Alexander the Great, he's not.
Sounds very nice, though. When I was a kid, I had a telescope.
Thanks for sharing, Mr. Rothman.
I'm sorry.
Don't sweat it. At night, Alan would close his eyes and sleep and dream. Hey, Mr. Rothman, you think he dreamt in Orange?
Wait a minute. You promised us Orange would not be part of this lousy play or skit or whatever you call this.
Lousy?
Sorry, didn't mean lousy. How about plain sucky?
Rothman, basically you insulted me.
Hey, what's the big idea? You know Alan hates basically. Why would you include basically in this stupid...
Because basically I thought I'd get a laugh. Sorry. Now I feel like a clown. Thank you, Mr. Rothman, for making me feel utterly incompetent. You seem so nice walking around with your lab coat and all. Thunder always happens when it's raining.
Stevie Nicks, that's a Stevie song. You lied. You got up in front of Al's dad and lied.
Technically it's Fleetwood Mac, but of course I lied. You want me to write a dumb skit without mentioning the Yankees or Mickey Mantle's bat size? 35 inches, in case you were wondering. Fine, I'll try one day at a time.
That's the show Valerie Bertinelli was in, and you said...
Yoo-hoo. Let's not get into a debate. I said a lot of things. Did I tell you when I was a kid I used to play basketball in the Lost Battalion on Queens Boulevard? Because I did. And there was a huge mural depicting the Lost Battalion. And I never put 2 and 2 together. I always found it strange that they had a painting of these soldiers in a basketball gym. Mr. Rothman, I'm not ashamed to admit I'm not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. I went all the way up to Grant's tomb to find out who is buried there. And why stop there, Mr. Rothman? It runs in my family. My aunt lives in Tennessee. She's 91. She thinks Graceland is named after Grace Kelly. And get this. She's never even been to Andrew Johnson's gravesite. Not once. How's that for chutzpah? This whole skit is highly ineffective. Help me, Mr. Rothman.
You should be honest. Honesty is the best policy.
You're so right. Thank you. I'm so tired of lies. Everywhere you turn, there are lies. It has to stop somewhere. This has nothing to do with anything, but it's the truth. When I was a kid, I had an imaginary friend called Orange. I mean, fine, Mr. Rothman. I will tell you about the real Al Tobin. I will tell you how Al was ahead of his time with baseball's drug policy and should have been a general manager instead of a lousy teacher. He did win Teacher of the Year. But we all know that the fix was in on that one.
Hey, that's not nice. He deserved the award.
Yeah, you're right. I apologize. Too much truth is not good either. I do remember, though, when I was doing observations for my teaching license, I observed Tobin's class, and he managed to spend the entire period taking attendance. And I thought I could do that. So thank you, Al, for making me feel I was qualified to teach. And I apologize to Al's staff for mentioning Stevie Nicks, even if technically it was Fleetwood Mac. I certainly didn't mean to bring Stevie into this. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. How many times did you see Stevie?
66.
But I'm sorry for the 66th time. Hey, I've got a top 200 list of why this isn't going anywhere. Number 200. Great Tobin teaching moments. And George Washington's cousin was married to his brother-in-law, the cook who's great, and uncle was a bass player who once dated and Mussolini, and the answer is A.
Enough. Enough. This is getting tiring. Why don't you just say it straight? Alan Tobin is a man who looks at the world a bit different than most people do. He brings his own perspective to everything he does.
And for over 25 years, he was more than willing to share his perspective with his students. He told them stories that mattered to him and tried his best to make them care.
And he was honest and truly wanted his students to share his love for life and history.
And one may say whatever one wants to about Alan Tobin, but nobody can ever say he doesn't care. He cares deeply about all the things I said I would have mentioned and did, but mostly he cares deeply about the people in this room right now, his family and friends.
You see, that was good. You were honest.
Mr. Rothman, I think I love you. But that's for another night. Alan, thank you for being you. And now for the top 500 list. Okay, would you believe 50? Actually, there's only a top 1 list tonight, and that's Alan Tobin. Say goodbye.
Good night.
Very good, Alice.
That was
Very good. You're welcome.
Could I have your
Good job, man. Good job.
I did. I have to.